If you're not familiar with the litter robot, it's a self-cleaning litter box. Your cat goes in, does their business, and it dumps the waste into the drawer to contain the smell. But I'm not here to sell you on it. I'm here to tell you how I hacked it with custom firmware. Now I have a Litter Robot 4, and like any modern home appliance, it has an internet connection and a mobile app. Now you don't need those for it to function, but if you want to track your cat's weight or litter box usage for health reasons, or you just like getting notified when your cat goes to the bathroom, you're going to need the app. If you're more tech savvy, you can use an open source home automation system like Home Assistant and automate tasks like running a ventilation fan to reduce odors, or I don't know, running the robot vacuum anytime your cat uses it because he kicks litter all over the floor. Every time. As a new owner of a robot vacuum, that's the exact kind of thing I had in mind. And to be clear, it would work, but I have a hard line against anything in my home relying on an internet connection or a proprietary app. Was I really going to make the one exception to my cloud-free home my cat's litter box? No, there had to be a better way. At first I thought maybe using a door sensor or a motion sensor to detect when the litter robot is activated, or even a security camera that uses a local AI model to detect which cat is using it and when. But I had a more ambitious idea. I'd write a custom firmware for the litter robot that talks directly to Home Assistant instead of relying on the cloud. No internet or accounts needed. I knew the Litter Robot 4 used an ESP32 microcontroller, a very common module with built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I also had experience with ESP Home, a free open source platform that allows you to easily create smart home devices with minimal programming experience. It basically takes in a few lines of YAML configuration and does all the hard work building a fully functional firmware that connects a wide variety of sensors and other devices to Home Assistant. If you couldn't tell by the name, ESP Home has great support for ESP microcontrollers. I used ESP Home in the past to make a few DIY smart home devices, like smart window blinds and a dual garage door opener. I even reverse engineered a Wi-Fi water valve to make an ESP Home firmware for it. But the experience that really came in handy for this project was converting my Wi-Fi air conditioners to ESP Home. It used a removable Wi-Fi module which could be swapped with an ESP-based one you could buy online. This works because the AC has a primary microcontroller that drives all the hardware, buttons, LEDs, fans, and pumps. The Wi-Fi module's only job is to connect to Wi-Fi and send my commands to the primary controller over a serial interface. Upon inspection of the Litter Robot 4 mainboard, it appeared to be designed in a similar way. A PIC microcontroller drives all the hardware, and an ESP32 connects to the Wi-Fi. This meant my firmware just had to send and receive a few commands, while the PIC microcontroller does all the heavy sifting. Most importantly, my firmware would only affect the Wi-Fi, leaving the main functionality and the safety mechanisms of the device completely unchanged. I did some more research and stumbled upon this blog post where Victor Kahan reverse engineered the Litter Robot 3. While he went into great detail on many things, the post was lacking what I personally needed, the communication protocol between the ESP and the PIC microcontroller. Thankfully, most of the information was transferable to the Litter Robot 4, and for a moment I felt like I knew what I was doing. I got an ESP Prog2 development board mentioned in the blog post, but I still had to do some modification to the main board. I removed the main board from the Litter Robot, and the pads I needed to solder to were small but very accessible. This process is actually easier on the 4 because the pinout matches up perfectly with the ESP Prog's ribbon cable. So I just needed to solder a 6-pin header to the unpopulated pads on the main board. Nearly the whole board is coated in a conformal coating to prevent liquid damage, so I had to carefully scratch that off first. After cleaning the pads, I soldered the header in place. These pins are actually half the size and pitch of the more common 2.54mm pitch headers, so they can be challenging, but I was able to do them without a microscope off camera, and I'm no soldering specialist. The ESP doesn't accept power from the newly installed header, so I have to put the main board back before I can attempt to read data from it. After that, I could just plug in a USB cable and connect to it with a serial monitor. I was happy to see the logs included the serial data being sent between both microcontrollers, which was exactly what I needed. While I knew the logs were serial data, I'll be honest and admit I had almost no idea what I was looking at. All the data was in hexadecimal, and while I was able to recognize some patterns, I was in way over my head at this point. I made a few captures of the litter robot doing various actions both with the physical buttons and through the app, and still had a difficult time making sense of it. I then fed those captures to a large language model to at the very least make them easier to read. To my surprise, the LLM not only determined the exact layout of the serial packets, but correlated the data within those packets with the few human-readable logs as the device talked to Whisker's cloud servers. I had a decent understanding of the serial protocol at this point, but I still had a lot to decipher. Dozens of captures later, I had successfully verified enough information to put the research to the test. Not wanting to put my $700 cat toilet at further risk, I set out to find a spare mainboard to experiment on so I could keep the original untouched. Whisker curiously doesn't sell replacement mainboards for the Litter Robot 4, despite stocking them for the 3 and even the 2 to this day. Luckily, I found one on eBay for around $60. After making sure the new mainboard worked, I was finally ready to try replacing the firmware. Just to test the waters, I had the LLM spit out some vibe-coded slop written directly in ESP-Home YAML configuration. If you know anything about ESP-Home, you know how gross this would have looked. I made my best effort to not even look at it before compiling and flashing it to the spare mainboard. This configuration had a single button to start a manual cycle and a text sensor to output the status of the robot. And to my surprise, it worked perfectly on the first try. This gave me enough confidence to put some effort into making an actual ESP-Home component in C++. I only program occasionally as a hobby and had zero experience with ESP-Home's backend. So full disclosure, I kept an LLM pretty close by my side in the writing of the firmware. With that said, I reviewed everything that it wrote and I fully understand all of it. I don't think it ever really wrote code I couldn't write myself. It just saved a lot of time and research. After a day or so, I had a firmware usable enough for my needs, which at the time was just detecting when the litter robot was cycling. After a few more days, I had implemented nearly every function of the official app, all locally controlled and monitored via Home Assistant. I used it for a few more days before determining it was stable enough to have others try it out. I published the first pre-release and made my announcement on r/litterrobot, only for it to be removed by moderators within about 10 minutes. I really should have expected as much, posting custom firmware install guides to a community heavily monitored by the manufacturer. It did get some positive attention in those 10 minutes though. I reposted on r/Home Assistant where it was obviously much more welcome, and a few people were crazy enough to try it themselves. So that's where we are now. I've had a half dozen people reach out to me after install with nothing but good things to say. The only criticism being the lack of multi-cat visit and weight tracking, which I'm happy to say is now supported in the latest release, closing the largest gap between the official app and my firmware. The code is still a work in progress, but I'm hoping to get it merged into ESP-Home so the Litter Robot 4 would be an officially supported device in the future. For now, you could find the Codeberg repo with the downloads for the firmware and a firmware flashing guide in the description. You may be asking about support for other Litter Robot models, and the only one I'm confident my code could be modified to run on is the Litter Robot 3 Connect with Wi-Fi. I don't have one myself, but if you do and you have some reverse engineering know-how, you could check the Codeberg in the description for more info on how you can help me make the firmware for that. This was a very satisfying project, and while it's been an extremely niche endeavor, I'm happy I saw it through to the end, even if I let this video distract me a bit. I don't make videos often, but I hope you'll subscribe to see what I get up to next. As always, thanks for watching. I'll leave it at that. That's good.